Hi, everybody. So I'll move away from the screen. I'll try to make it the shortest and quickest talk for the day. I'm scheduled for 15 minutes. I'll try to make it in 13 to 14. So I'm here to present today a piece of research that we've done together in collaboration with ArabNet and in the past couple of weeks. So it's really very fresh research, very fresh data. The whole report is very robust, so I'm only going to give you some summary of key insights of what we found. It's looking at a couple of things, really. One is consumer habits, so that's more about are people using digital channels? By digital channels, I mean the internet and apps to do their day-to-day tasks. Versus traditional ways, so like doing things in person or doing things over the phone. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a second. And then it's looking at their awareness, so people living in the UAE, their awareness of everything that is made available by the mGovernment or the mobile government of the UAE. So there are a lot of efforts being done there, really very interesting apps, most of which I've been living here for 7 years. To be honest, I didn't know of them. So hopefully we'll raise the awareness after this report as well. So first of all, let me tell you a bit more about who we are and what we do. So OnDeviceResearch is a market research company, but it's not traditional really because we reach people who signed up with us, so it's not spam. We reach them to take their surveys directly on their smartphones, on their mobile devices in general, but smartphones primarily, at least here in the GCC. And the incentive that they get is related to their mobile device as well. For this particular piece of research, we conducted it with a nationally representative sample of 1,000 people in the UAE, representative in terms of age and gender and nationality, region and income. And as I mentioned, it was done a couple of weeks ago. So to start you off, I split the very short presentation into a couple of sections. The first one is consumer habits. This next one is about mGovernment and mobile government awareness and usage and availability of apps. So first off, how do you pay for your government bills or fines? Just for the record, there is a lot of granularity that will be shown in the report. I'm not going to bore you. I don't want to drown you in too much information today. Some granularity into, for example, how are genders using all these different services differently? Are men acting differently than women? Are different nationalities within the UAE doing that differently or not? And etc. So the quick answer to that was most people still do it in person. Now, that might mean that you need to sign something themselves, so they didn't have a choice, but at the same time, it might mean also that some of them might not be aware that they don't need to go physically. But still, some, like 1/3, 1 out of 3, do it using online, the internet or an app, which is not too bad, come to think of it. Next one is how do you pay your credit card, insurance, and loans? That was a little bit of a surprise to me. I expected the number to be higher than 33% doing it online or app specifically here. But you know, the data is, that's what it shows. How do you book a taxi? In person. So in person means they actually go down on the street and ask for a taxi. Phone, 46%. Online or apps, so Careem or Uber, only 13%, which is kind of an opportunity if you think about it. So I thought they are huge. Apparently they still have a lot more that they can do, which is great for them. But to be, sorry, before I move to this one, when you think about it, I mean, I've only been using Uber and Careem for the past year or two. And I don't see how we used to do it before. So whoever is not using them yet, please go ahead and do so. Do you book holiday or travel? Now the numbers here are much better than the rest. The slight majority do so using the internet or an app, which is great. A little bit more. How do you book a doctor consultation? Now, you'd be surprised. Only 7% do it over the internet or an app. That's for a number of reasons. I have to admit I'm one of the 7%, the 93%, I would say, rather. So I either do it mostly over the phone. But it actually makes sense. So I Googled it, and I found that there's a website or an app called Doctoruna, for instance, and that's what they do. So their job is for you to look at all the different doctors, find when their availability, the next appointment, and all that. So when you think about it, why do I have to wait for 8 minutes over the phone when I can do that very easily? So I hope this number, if we do something similar next year, I hope this number will at least double to 14% by then. How do you buy tickets for cinema, concerts, and the rest? Numbers are better as we can expect it. So, I mean, for example, coming to ArabNet today, I doubt that a lot of you went to the ArabNet office to book things in person, so it makes things so much easier just to do it online. Do you make a restaurant reservation? Numbers are very low. That's weird also. So, I mean, things like OpenTable are available for everybody. They're out there. They're free. And they make our lives so much easier. You can just, if you're not familiar with it, you can just check it out. You can see when is the next available timing, the table, the seating, all that. So, and instead of, again, waiting on the line, but also you can see that, okay, maybe it's not available today, but tomorrow at 9 p.m. So I highly encourage you to use those services. And lastly, on this side of things, how do you order food delivery? The number is still relatively low when you look at 19% being online or app and 57% being over the phone. But at the same time, if you remember the deal that was done with Talabat.com, $100+ million, I think last year or at least 12 months ago, that goes to show that the potential for such services is tremendous in the region. Now, we ask those who do use digital channels, so those by digital channels, again, I mean the internet or an app, we ask them what was the main driver for that. The number one reason was kind of expected, so I'm not going to shock you with this slide. You'll expect most of the answers on it, so I'll be honest. To save time, okay, we all knew that. And then the next couple of answers were, one, the ability to book in advance and avoiding traffic jams. Moving on to slightly more interesting, why is it, so here on this one we ask those who do not use digital channels, why is it that they don't? Number one, 38% of people said it's because they had no choice but to be present in person, which, by the way, is not necessarily always the case. It's more of this is what they expect. They think that they need to sign in person, but yeah, so that's what people thought. But the sad thing about it is the next one, is that still the two out of three of the biggest reasons why people are not using digital channels is a lack of trust. And I'm sad to say that I've been working in this industry, online and mobile, for the past 17 years, and I still see, so back in 1999, that used to be the main factor, and still is today, so that's a little bit sad. I hope things will move very quickly, because I know there are a lot of different entities that are involved, and like, for example, all the app developers, all the companies that will actually make, so Uber and Karim and all those, and Talabat.com. If people had a little bit more trust, you can imagine how much bigger their business could potentially be. So trust in the usage of their credit card information and trust in personal information. Now, moving on to the second section of the presentation today is awareness of mGovernment. Again, for those who missed it earlier, mGovernment is mobile government. And in the case of the UAE specifically, the government is doing a lot of work, and there's a lot of time being spent, a lot of efforts being put to make things readily accessible, and I think I got turned on, yeah, I'm back. Readily available for everybody and to make everybody's life much easier. What we'll see today is that are people aware of that? So it would be great if everybody knew it existed, but if not too many people know it exists, then there's definitely a little bit more advertising, let's say, or marketing that needs to be done there. First one, I'm going to give you a very short, in case you're not familiar with each of those apps. By the way, there are many more apps that are government-related that we surveyed or that we researched as part of the report, but I just chose a few of them for you today. So Dubai Police app. I'm going to tell you a little bit, like just 2 pointers or the two main perks, in my personal opinion, on each of those apps and how you can benefit from them in case you're not familiar with them already, and in case you don't live in the UAE so that you know what they do. So, by the way, the Dubai Police has been winning the mServices Award, mGovernment mServices Award for 3 years in a row, 2014, 15, and 16, which is great. And also a side note, all of these apps have tremendous ranking on Google Play. So even though we'll find that some of them have a much better awareness level than others, still all of them, those who use them, those who know they exist, love and use them all the time, which is kind of good. So Dubai Police, for example, some of the perks that I found out about them, about this app, is if you need to go to a police station for whatever reason, because sometimes there's some paperwork that you need to do there or for other purposes, you can know and choose as part of the you can choose the exact station you want to go to and see exactly how many people are right there right now and waiting in line and the expected wait time. Not only that, but if you know that you want to go on a Tuesday at noon, for example, you can book ahead of time a ticket so that you go there and you don't have to even wait in line, which is amazing. I mean, I had no idea it existed. I had to go there a week ago. So that's pretty good. Now, 19% of people are not aware of it, of the people, the 1,000 representative people that we surveyed, and 8% use it regularly. Now, don't be disappointed by the 19%. It's actually pretty good because that means that 81% of people are aware of it. And if you look at all the rest that's coming up, this number is actually pretty good. What is your level of engagement with the RTA? So RTA, for those of you who don't live here, is the Road and Transport Authority. And so same question, what is your level of engagement with it? Do you know it? Have you used it? There are many more answers. I just highlighted 2 for you. Do you use it once a month, once every 6 months, etc.? Not aware of it, 18%. Again, in comparison to before, it's actually very good. So they're definitely doing a very good job at raising awareness for their app and all the benefits that come with it. And on this slide, the last one is, what is your level of engagement with DIWA? Sorry for those of you who don't live here. It's the Electricity and Water Authority. Also, not too bad. So 78% of the people are aware of it, and the usage, I think, is not too bad either. Now, here are the apps that I didn't know existed, and I'm very happy that I know now, so I hope you'll benefit from that as well. So the Wajhati, I don't know how many of you, I'm not going to ask a raise of hands, but I don't know how many of you knew about Wajhati. So Wajhati, I checked yesterday with my team in the office. Apparently, all of them knew about it, so I was the only one, the only odd one out. But they use it and they love it, and their definition of it was it's the Google Maps, but just a better. Yes, I have 1 minute? Oh, okay. Well, sorry, it's not 13 or 14 minutes after. I'll go very quick. So the Wajhati is it's like Google Map, but just a better version of it. So much more suitable and much more adapted for the UAE. So those who use it love it. But unfortunately, it's only 44% who are aware of it. So, yeah, so hopefully that number will change very quickly. I'll go quickly, sorry. So smart parking app, also part of RTA. The number is not too bad. Smart parking, for example, gives you an idea about where there are available parking spots right now. If you're going to a certain street where there are free parking spots as well. I mean, when you think about it, it's amazing to have those services. Makani, sorry, I'm going to move very quickly because I want to get to the slide after that one. So Makani, again, I'm going to spare you the definition of that, very sorry, but I'm more than happy to give you any additional information you need after the talk today. Not aware of it, also 44%. Just jumping onto this one, because Sallati was my favorite, my personal favorite. Sallati is an app that if you want to go to do some grocery shopping, you would need to buy, I don't know, 12, 15 items, whatever. You go on Sallati, you choose all these different items that you're planning on purchasing, and you add them all to your basket, you click next, it shows you in Lulu supermarket, and then Géant next to it, and then Carrefour, and then Spinneys, and whatever else, in each of those, exactly what would be your total bill. And you can compare, okay, you know what, after all, Géant, I'm not doing any advertising for Géant, I don't know anybody there, but let's say, okay, Lulu is it's the one that's cheaper. So you go there, which is great when you think about it. But 50% only awareness, which is really a shame. So I'm sincerely hoping this number will get much better because those are amazing services. Sahati, you can imagine from the name, health related. Sorry, I have to go very quickly apparently. How am I doing on am I fast? Okay, cool. 50% also awareness, and Dubai Now. Just Dubai Now is actually the last one. If there is one app you need to have, if you don't want to download 10 or 15 different apps, if you want to have just one, I would assume it would have to be Dubai Now. It's a one-stop app for all the M services and the mGovernment services in the UAE. Still, number not great, but I'm gonna go. I mean, don't look at this as something negative. Of course, this is an opportunity. It's great things. It just needs to be advertised a little bit better. So we have this on, again, in the report on every single app, on a lot more. But just to give you a small case study, and I'll leave you with that. By the way, that's my last slide. Just to show you the different profile of people. So we looked at students versus investors versus parents, employers versus employees, and all that for the full research. But just to look at the usage and awareness of Dubai Now app as just one single example, how does it rate with these different personas or personalities? So 42% of students are not aware of it. 42% of investors used it at least once, which is pretty good. That means that the more high affluent people, the very business people in general are definitely benefiting from this app, which is good to know. Only 8% of employees use it regularly. 19% of parents are aware of it but never tried it. And 19% of employers, of course, I mean, a parent can be an employer at the same time, but if we asked them to choose just the one persona that they felt they relate to the most, 19% of employers use it occasionally. Again, please look ahead for the full report coming up by ArabNet soon. Thanks a lot for your time. That's it for me.
Nader.
Thanks.
So